Well, it's I guess you'd say season 1, episode 1.5 of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Mike and Joe, Enforcer and the Stallion Enforcer. Joe's better looking. I feel like we should go with him first.
False.
Disagree. Well, this is going to be an emotional. It's emotional. It's going to be raw. Well, it's not going to be raw, but it's going to be the Extreme Rules recap show. It's best to do a recap show as soon. It's when things are fresh. You get the most, the realest opinions, I guess you would say. Much like after a breakup, you make a mixtape.
Sure.
Breakup, mixtape, Frank Sinatra.
I'm still in a Big Show match soak in a little bit, actually. So.
Let it soak. Bring out the sponge of the Big Show match.
Still feeling good.
Instant thoughts on the night. Let's I guess let's start at the top. Actually, for me, the top was the best part. I hope people tuned into the what do they call it? The pre-show?
The pre-show,
The
yeah.
pre-show. Yeah. And the pre-show of the match was...
it was Barrett versus Neville as a replacement for Daniel Bryan being hurt.
What did you think?
I thought the match was good. I mean, no complaints really on my end. I thought the match itself was solid. I thought it was cool that Neville got to win and go over on his first main pay-per-view appearance. I mean...
Well, was it a pay-per-view appearance because it was a pre-show?
Well, yeah, I'm going to count it, I guess, just because it was, somebody was watching it on pay-per-view, I guess. So
We were watching it on pay-per-view. That's what matters.
Yes, we were watching. So I thought it was good. I mean, I thought he performed well. There's, no botched spots or whatever. I mean, Barrett worked fine. He loses a lot anyway, so I don't think that really matters.
I agree. It would have been devastating if Barrett would have won, considering he's lost. I'm sure there are people out there far smarter. Well, not smarter, but far more diligent, I guess you would, and they could pull up Wade Barrett's win-loss record over the last 3 or 4 months because it's got to be absolutely atrocious.
He loses a lot.
He loses a lot. Yeah. Wade Barrett is to professional wrestling what the Islanders will be tomorrow. Going for the jugular.
That's low.
Suck it, Islanders. Suck it, Steve Thomas. NHL '94. I'll get over that.
Suck it, Alexei Yashin.
Yeah, dicks.
Okay.
All right. But no, I agree with you. I thought that match was awesome. Neville got an awesome reaction. The crowd really seems to like him, and they're pushing him. I mean, he might be a quote unquote smaller guy, but it was a good match. And Wade Barrett can work with a lot of people. He needs some wins, but he needs something to change.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
it's a good thing they stopped doing I'm afraid I've got some bad news, because that was actually about to get over.
Oh, the thing that got over?
Yeah, the thing that got over, yeah.
No, we wouldn't want that to happen.
No. Put that in there with the Cesaro swing category. Yeah.
He was going to lose anyway, I'm assuming, so, even if he was fighting Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental title. So I feel like losing to Neville isn't a big deal, and it actually helps Neville gain a little bit more credibility. And like you said, he got a good reaction from the crowd in Chicago, who... those fans are usually pretty smart as far as,
Look, if we're going to be honest, they could be dicks. The Chicago fans can be dicks.
They can be fickle.
Fickle?
They can be fickle.
You're going to PG it. We'll PG it.
Just for the kids listening to this podcast.
Well, then the kids probably weren't watching the Kiss My Arse match.
Oh, okay.
Natural segue. That's what I do.
That's brutal. Well, the match itself was fine, I thought, as far as...
Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus?
Yeah, they've probably worked each other.
The match itself would have been fine if I didn't notice Sheamus's weird beard, zigzag braid in high definition.
The French braid beard.
Not the dreadlocks he's got hanging from the beard. There's a weird design. It just bugs.
None of it's good.
None of it's good.
None of the presentation.
I like Sheamus as a heel. I'm okay with it. I like that he changed his music too.
Yeah, I think the other thing I was thinking about actually when that match ended. So anybody who saw it, right? So Ziggler won clean with a roll up, or a small package actually, if I'm not mistaken.
There's probably a small package joke we could make soon because
it's gotta be something.
The good news is Seth Rollins wasn't in the match.
Oh, that's...
I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
So yeah, he won with a small package, and So the interesting thing about that to me was not that I really cared who won the match because the stipulation was absolutely atrocious.
I don't want to see a dude's ass, Joe.
No one wants to see that. But this was actually Sheamus's first match back on a pay-per-view since he returned as a heel. They kind of built him up as like a dangerous monster type dude when he came back in his turn, and then his first match back he loses clean to a small package. So not that I care about Sheamus or his push or lack thereof. That really doesn't affect me in any way. I'm still gonna be able to sleep tonight when I go to bed. But I thought that was a little interesting too for a guy like Ziggler who loses consistently and frequently.
Well, if you're going to talk about Ziggler, you brought it up earlier. Something about the tweet before the.
Yeah, there was some tweet where he indicated that he might. It sounded like he might be leaving. Like he said he was going to go out swinging or something like that. So there was some interweb.
IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community.
The interwebs were speculating that maybe he was on his way out of the organization. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if he'd want to do that because if he leaves, he might actually get a chance to wrestle. So
well, I don't know. But if I guess the match was fine. The stipulation was stupid. Obviously, we talked about that last week.
So bad.
It just was bad. And the worst part, which you pointed out while we were watching it, was that they drew out the whole whether Sheamus was going to kiss his arse thing for like at least 5 to 10 minutes after the match ended. Whereas that time could have probably gone to another match that maybe needed it or something like that. But it got drawn out, and then Sheamus ended up, of course, attacking Ziggler predictably before he actually did the kissing of his arse part of it. And
it wasn't like a kiss; it was more like an aggressive swipe of the face, if you will.
Yeah, that was So he ended up shoving Ziggler's face in his own rear end, and that's how the segment ended. I'm sure somewhere Vince McMahon was in the back, laughing,
yucking it up,
getting his yucks in.
Like the first time we saw Animal House back there. I think it was I think it was just terrible. It was terrible. The match was okay. It's Sheamus and Ziggler. I think I've seen that.
It was just a drawn out.
Twice. It was just a waste of time. And
so then,
I'm gonna cut you off for 1 second. Sheamus lost and he had to kiss Ziggler's ass, but what kind of nothing storyline wise, nothing forced him to do that. There was no you're suspended if you don't complete it. So
no, there was none of that. I think it was just a lot of peer pressure from the official and Ziggler basically just standing.
Mike Chioda he's an intimidating individual.
Yeah, so he basically was about to do it, and then he just obviously decided at the last minute to attack him with a low blow. Yeah,
that's extreme. That's good.
So,
I'm sorry, I cut off your segue.
No, I was going to just talk about, I guess what I would probably say was the best match of the night.
I'm going to finish your sentence?
Yeah.
Was it The New Day and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro?
Yes, that was, I thought that was the best match of the night.
Good at this.
That was the best match of the night. I don't know. I mean, Cesaro and Kidd have only been teaming for 4 or 5 months, but they consistently seem to put on good matches regardless of who their opponents are. Tonight was no exception in my opinion.
And New Day. I don't know why I have to keep saying it like that.
It's catchy.
New Day sucks. No, they get a lot of guff, if you will, but they're fine in the ring. They're not
Yeah, those guys are good. I mean, Big E and Kofi were the guys that worked this match, and I thought they're both very competent workers in my opinion.
Kofi can make anybody really look good.
Yeah,
and there was a couple of awesome spots. Antonio Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, if you will, IWC.
Cesaro has a first name.
Cesaro. Oh yeah, Cesaro. Right. Yeah, I forgot his first name anymore. Right.
I didn't. Was that on Wikipedia?
Actually, his first name and Neville's first name just became Antonio Adrian. It's weird.
That's weird.
That's going to be the name of the next job on NXT, by the way.
Yeah.
But he is so insanely strong, and it's not just bodybuilder strength; it's functional strength. The way he caught Kofi out of midair, and he caught Big E out of midair too. He's so impressive, and he's so good, and they were so over. So what better way to pay the people back than
to have him lose on a roll?
Than to have him 2 roll-ups tonight, huh? Were there 2 roll-ups?
There's a couple of those. Yeah, I mean, we saw it coming, obviously, as the situation was unfolding. There was some chaos outside. I think Natalya slapped Xavier Woods, and then there was some, I don't know, that Big E knocked Kid off the apron, and then
we
Cesaro
both
clotheslined him
saw
out,
it coming.
He got rolled up. I mean, The thing for me is I prefer being old school, longer championship reigns for teams, because I think the longer you have titles, the more it means when you take them off of the team that's the champions.
So you saying it was big news when Red Dragon lost the belt because they were champions for over a year?
That is, to me, significant news. I sat in my room with the shades drawn for a couple of hours.
I'm still not over it.
Yeah,
I'm still. I'm sorry to get off topic. It's just still. God, it's like Chinese water torture in my brain.
I understand by WWE logic why they would put the tag titles on New Day, because they felt like they were getting heat as they are now heels.
But if we're talking about that in this match, then when did Kid and Cesaro become faces?
I don't think that ever officially happened. I'd heard somewhere that, I guess, like on the tour of Europe, I don't know exactly what countries they were in. Maybe Europe, and obviously Europe's not a country.
Europe
it's a continent.
I thought
actually.
Europe was a country.
Europe, the European region. How about we go with that?
European region. She's into Malaccas, Dino. I don't know.
Apparently they were cheered over there a good amount.
Cesaro being, the Swiss Superman,
yes.
if you will.
So I heard that maybe they would be working as baby faces when they came back, which seemed to be what.
You think that'd be something that they'd want to convey to the viewer? Yeah. I mean, for people that appreciate wrestling, Cesaro and Kid are going to get cheered no matter where they go. But to the casual fan, you're wondering why you have the bad guys with the bad guy manager Natalia, who kind of just went over to the heel side, against a team with another bad guy manager, Consequences Creed. What's his name?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. Yeah. So who do you cheer for? To the casual fan.
Right. To the casual fan, to the little kids at home. Right.
To the little kids
Johnny,
at home.
Little Johnny at home watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah, little Johnny watching this.
Who is he rooting for? Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Probably
know.
New Day because they have a catchy theme.
I couldn't tell you. I think it's a tough call. They don't really make any sort of storyline sense out of it. They just kind of make it happen.
I'm just excited that match was on the main card.
Yeah, that was the one. I mean, the two good things actually. Interestingly enough, that Daniel Bryan couldn't wrestle tonight. One was that Neville got put in his place, and they had a really good match with Barrett, which he won. And then two, that match being put on the pre-show caused the tag match to be put on the main show, which is not always the case for the tag titles, regardless of who the champions are. So I thought that was cool that those guys got it onto the main card and performed really well and had a really good match. So not a huge New Day fan. I don't necessarily like the fact that they won the titles.
Are they going to be? Sorry to cut you off. Are they going to be transitional champions for the Lucha Dragons?
I'm sure that they're going to feud with Lucha Dragons at some point soon. Just because I don't know who else.
That means they're probably going to break up Kid and Cesaro. Is that going to be in the future?
I mean, hopefully not. Their T-shirts just came out, so I think there's some legs.
Why don't we have that?
I don't know.
We'll get to the bottom of that.
Shipping and handling, I think, is a big deterrent for me sometimes when purchasing things online.
Well, we have so many listeners, so I feel like if any of our listeners want to contribute to the All Night Long Wrestling podcast, Joe wears a size kid medium, and his right arm's just a little bit longer than his left. Yeah. It's a Happy Gilmore reference. Yeah. If anybody got that.
We take cash, personal check.
Personal checks. I take Diners Club cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're here for you. We're here for all of you. Get back to that. I feel like it's going to be another Cesaro and Swagger when they're going to be so super over, and then it's going to be like, well, you know what they're going to do? We're going to separate them, and they're going to be big stars on their own because we have enough tag teams. You don't. You have the Usos, who you don't have the Usos because...
Right, because one of them's hurt. I don't remember which one.
Uso A is out, and you've got New Day. Although New Day, are they going to do the Freebird rule, where Consequences Creed can just hop in and wrestle?
Maybe they will. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. I don't think they probably don't have a plan going forward after tonight. So I guess we'll see what happens with the tag titles. I'm sure there'll be a rematch with Kid and Cesaro, and New Day will keep it, and then they'll probably move them on to something else, and Kid and Cesaro will be working main event for the next 3 months.
And that's why I watch main event instead of Raw. All right, so we talked about...
Did anything else happen after that match on the pay-per-view? I don't remember.
Not that I can remember. Did we miss anything before? The Extreme Rules match between...
Oh, yeah, Ambrose and Harper.
You want to... I kind of like, to an extent, I like what they did. I also feel like that people should watch Cactus Jack versus Paul Orndorff from. Oh, shit's gonna drive me
Mr.
crazy.
Wonderful?
Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Is that a WCW pay-per-view that you're referencing right now?
I am. It was probably 93, 92, but it was, and all over the arena, beat the hell out of each other. Falls count anywhere, awesome match, and I feel like that's like the blueprint for these matches. And that, what I don't need, and I said this to Joe as we were watching it, what I don't need anymore is the kendo stick. Get rid of the kendo stick. You know who used the kendo stick? Sandman. It wasn't called the kendo stick, it was called the Singapore cane. A, because it's controversial, and B, excuse my language, because it was legit fucking Singapore cane. When Sandman hit somebody with that thing, you knew. It didn't bounce off like rubber. So if we can, I feel very passionate about this because I know Extreme Rules. It's there.
You seem a little upset.
I'm tight right now. I'm tight. I'm hot. I'm white hot.
Was the full-grown horse that you consumed for dinner not cooked to your liking? This man eats a lot of protein, folks.
It's just a new oven, and I don't know how long to cook it for, and it's just, God, it really gets me. But I just feel like that you don't do a whole pay-per-view as an ode to ECW, and then just do the same stuff over and over and over, like the kendo stuff. Just get rid of it.
So speaking of ode to ECW,
oh, here we go.
The Nikki Bella Naomi match. What did you think of that? Oh wait, no, we fast forwarded that actually. So we're not gonna talk about that match on this.
I don't want anybody to think we're hating on female wrestling.
Why not? That's exactly what we're doing.
No, we're hating on the divas.
Oh, okay.
We're hating on the divas. I'll watch Charlotte Flair wrestle Sasha Banks and Bayley over 95% of the matches on Raw. So I don't want anybody. It's just so
agreed.
Bad. But I heard what's her name, the Funkadactyl got new music.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, she doesn't come out to Brodus Clay's music anymore.
Yeah.
Who's now in TNA?
Brodus Teddy Long? No, not Teddy Long. Ernest Cat Miller's first, right? Yeah. So okay, you want to watch? Speaking of women's wrestling, Havoc, Kong, Taryn Terrell. 2 weeks in a row I've referenced Taryn Terrell. Not saying anything. Get at me, Taryn, on Twitter at NY Enforcer. Actually, or Havoc. You want to get at me too? Kong.
Anybody.
So the match was what it was. It was, with the finish with the chairs, and they had like the 700 chairs in the ring.
Oh, we're back to Ambrose.
Yeah, we're circling back here. It's about
Naomi and Nikki didn't use chairs. I don't think. I really don't know because
I knew that's where we were. If we could just circle back to, sorry, we're over the place. You get raw emotion. You get how I actually feel. I'm not going to sleep on it and pretend I like something.
Technically, we're following how the pay-per-view went because the Ambrose and Harper match opened and then they came back in the middle of the show. I can't remember after what match specifically they came back and then they finished it finally in the middle of the ring.
We call him the Booker, folks, for a reason because he does this.
Ambrose got a clean win. Good for him.
He got a clean win. Good for him. Here's my issue. There's 700 chairs in the ring, and he hits Dirty Deeds, which is just the stupidest name for a finisher. Dirty Deeds, go look it up, was a National Lampoon's direct-to-DVD movie from like 2008.
Was it really?
It was actually...
Is it also like an AC/DC song? Is that...
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Yeah, that's true. The movie was like... like American Pie 47, but it was actually pretty enjoyable. But why that's Dean Ambrose's finisher, I have no idea. Name the name of it at least. It's better than the other Bulldog Facebuster. I'm gonna do a whole podcast on really terrible finishers, but until I get to that point, so there's 700 chairs in the ring, and he managed to hit Dirty Deeds on 4 inches of mat that don't have chairs.
Clean. Yeah, I don't really know what the deal is with that. They spent a lot of time throwing chairs in the ring, and then he ends up hitting a DDT on the mat, and then he rolled Harper onto the chair to pin him, which I really don't feel like adds anything to the pinning combination that he tried to accomplish. But no. He did it, and
I like Dean Ambrose too, and I love Harper. I love Dean Ambrose. I love Harper. Mm-hmm. They can just work better matches than that, and it wasn't a great match. Too much of the plunder, daddy. Yeah, I love plunder. Sorry, I'm just Dusty Rhodes.
So I think. After that,
Dusty Rhodes coined that term in a match, on a Public Enemy match in 1996. Just so you guys know.
I think after that they started getting into what you would consider the main event matches, which were.
This is where I phased out a little bit.
You phased out a little bit. Well, the first one was the Cena versus Rusev.
I like that. Yeah,
Russian chain match, right for the U.S. title. I thought it was fine. I mean,
I had no issues with it. You knew Cena was going to win, and Rusev didn't have to lose. and we both agreed that that spot at the end that we saw, where they took a different corner and they all fall.
Yeah,
I've never seen that. I've seen a lot of chain matches. I also compared that match to Sting versus Vader, the White Castle of Fear match from Super Bowl '92, maybe.
A classic.
A classic. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Vader was like eating a big turkey leg in the mountains, and I was like, "What am I watching?"
The last spot I thought was good. For myself, I was hooked in to see what would happen. They had each had touched three corners, the same three corners.
Right.
So they each had the same corner remaining to touch, and they were both in the middle of the ring. Basically in a tug of war with the chain to see who would get to that last corner. I think Rusev went for it and then got pulled back into a
attitude adjustment,
right, from Cena. And
watch your language, it's PG.
I'm making sure, yes, to get the name of the moves.
It's not the FU.
And then he ended up winning the match, which I think most people expected Cena to retain, as per he just won the title last month. It's a way for Rusev to lose without being pinned or submitted. Shortly after that match, there was a backstage segment where Rusev had gotten angry with Lana and sent her to the back during the match for taking up too much attention.
Right.
Long and short of it really was she ended up going to the Authority and requesting a match for the next pay-per-view, which is Payback in 3 weeks, which will be a I Quit match for the U.S. title.
I'm sorry, when is it?
3 weeks.
Nothing like building a program in 3 weeks. I take issue with one part of the match, and I brought it up to you. John Cena does a fish drop, right? Mm-hmm. He does the "you can't see me" fish drop. He hits some whatever the terrible spinning, not Blue Thunder driver, but the spinning backdrop, and he does the "you can't see me," and he goes and he drops the fist. One fist is covered in a chain from the match. The other fist is a bare fist, and he drops the bare fist.
Yeah, there's not a lot of attention to detail there.
No, not a lot. Really, and it's such a USA versus Russia.
They had flags on the little cuffs on their wrists.
They had flags on the cuffs.
There's a lot of attention to detail there on that part of it, at least.
But on the actual match itself, even if that, ad lib a little bit, a little freedom.
Yeah.
Just,
I guess I'll give them. I'll say that I liked their match this month better than the WrestleMania one, because the WrestleMania one sort of ended out of nowhere. Especially considering it was Rusev's first.
From out of nowhere, the last PWG show. Look it up on YouTube.
Order it, buy it.
Too sweet to plug.
So I thought it was good. I thought it was a good match. They'll have another one next month, which I think is their 4th straight pay-per-view match. Cena's won the last 2.
Can I spoil the match for you next month? In 3 weeks?
I guess.
I'm gonna spoil it for you. It's an I Quit match. Lana throws in the towel. Lana and Rusev break up.
Oh no.
And then Cena dons a Chechen hockey jersey, turns heel, makes out with Lana on TV, and says he's the one that killed Apollo Creed in Rocky IV.
Wow, I think that would upset a lot of people. I don't know. That's good. But I would be.
You didn't see it coming.
I did not see it coming.
From out of nowhere.
From out of nowhere.
From out of nowhere.
That's classic.
But I don't want to say. I hope they do something different. Wasn't John Cena just in an I Quit match like within the last year?
Probably.
And there was a big thing where he says he never gives up.
That sounds familiar. I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you that, but
who he fought. I don't remember who that was. I'm sure it's somebody. He's fought everybody in the same matches every year. I Quit match, last man standing, all these types of things. So those are just the standard John Cena feuds that occur.
That's the only way I could see that match going down is if Lana. Rusev's not going to say I quit. Mm-hmm. I see Lana throwing in the towel for him.
Okay.
Throw in the towel. I feel like this just happened.
I cannot wait for Lana's movie to come out. I just want everybody to know that. That is legit. That is not sarcastic comment on my part. I want to watch Lana's movie. I don't know. It'd be something with Edge. They film like a WWE Studios movie.
It's not the Marine 16. Starring Ron, the Truth Killings.
Yes, and Damien Mizdow.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I forget what it's called, interrogation or something like that. But
okay,
I'm going to watch anything that features Lana pretty much at this point. So
you can watch a direct to Skinemax movie which came out 6 years ago.
Whoa, that's. I don't subscribe to those channels, Mike. I don't have that in my house.
Sometimes you get a free preview. Right? I just moved into my
new... It's a clean house. We don't watch stuff like that.
Listen, I just moved into my new condo. They gave me a free preview. It's 3:00 in the morning. I can't sleep. Bam, Lana. Anyway,
moving on.
Can we just skip over the entire Big Show match?
The Big Show match?
I'm going to give it to Roman Reigns because he tried to work his ass off in this match.
Yeah, working hard is not something that I feel like Reigns has a problem with. His matches, I mean, you can see he's working hard in his matches. I don't think that's the reason why people don't
right,
like
and he had to work 4 times as hard because it was the Big Show.
Because it was with the Big Show. But I think...
took a nasty bump on the outside. He took a couple bumps in that match.
They had a couple of spots going through tables, and, they do the usual spear through the barricade spot and all that type of junk. So, I mean, that's fine. Reigns went over clean. He ended up pushing the announce table onto Big Show, and he couldn't answer the 10 count.
I like that. I liked how he hit him with the running spear, and then he, a little insult to injury. I think it was...
so I thought that was... I mean, look, it's a Big Show match.
I was going to say, I don't want to say it's harmless, but as far as a Big Show match goes, that's the best you're going to get.
Yeah, it was fine, and Reigns winning was the right thing to do because he needs that right now. So
that's what's best for business, Joe.
Good for him, and let's move on to... So the only thing left after that was the main event.
You sure you don't want to talk about the Divas match?
No, I think we covered just about enough of the Divas match.
Can we talk about Nikki's hat and Brie's hat?
I don't want to... The flat brims?
The
Is that what we're talking
brims.
about? The flat
What kind
brim
of clown bag wears a flat brim hat?
I guess that's the style. With the snapback in the front and the backwards flat brim.
Kyle, we don't mean you.
Oh,
Kyle, you are the one guy that's allowed to wear a flat brim. So not you. Because you pull it off and you don't look like you're wearing your big brother's hat like Nikki does. Drives me insane.
I apologize.
Her body looked phenomenal, though. Like, she looked like she's in great shape.
Everything else was fine.
Yeah.
Everything else was good.
All right, let's just move on.
So, main event, Seth Rollins against Randy Orton. Stipulations in this match were it was fought inside of a steel cage.
The same cage that King Kong Bundy wrestled Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3.
WrestleMania, yeah.
Wait, 2. Sorry.
WrestleMania 2.
I'm sorry, 2.
And then the RKO was banned.
Was it banned, Joe?
Well, so that was the catch-all. So for those of you who watched, you saw that the ending of the match was all the shenanigans involving Kane and who he was going to attack or whatever, and he ended up attacking both Orton and Rollins. He went after Orton, and Orton gave him an RKO, which I suppose was legal because he was not in the match. Seth Rollins then delivered an RKO to Randy Orton and crawled out the cage door to the floor to win. So the announcers quickly after pointed out that the RKO maneuver was banned. They sort of argued with each other.
Wait, was the Ace Crusher banned?
Well, that was what I was going to say. Maybe hit him with a diamond cutter instead.
It was, or a Bubba cutter?
Sure.
A Dreamer cutter?
Yeah. All those things. So that was what they were pointing out after the match, was that the RKO was banned and it didn't matter who used it, and et cetera, et cetera. It did not change the end of the match, which was Seth Rollins cornered out of the cage, retaining the title. The pay-per-view went off the air, and he was still the champion. So whether that leads to some controversy tomorrow on Raw...
Well, you're going to get payback.
Right, and then maybe them having another match at Payback, which would be the third pay-per-view in a row for them to wrestle, but whatever. As long as it doesn't involve Kane next time, I think I'd be more inclined to enjoy the match. The match itself was fine.
The match itself was okay. Kane wasn't like the biggest part of it. Well, maybe he was a little bit.
He was too big of a part of it, but the whole storyline building up to it involved him the last few weeks anyway, so...
So Kane and Big Show back-to-back matches in the main event.
Yep.
What year is it?
Partying like it's 1999, my friend.
Like it's 1999.
That's how they do it.
Has anybody seen Kai and Tai?
No, but I miss those guys.
I'm with you on that one.
Good workers.
I didn't hate the match. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan in the entire world. I'm sorry to say that. I know, Joe, I know you like Randy.
He's okay. I mean, he's not like my favorite.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it all before.
I think that's the thing. It's with those matches.
They had a better match at WrestleMania.
Yes,
much
I
better
would agree with that. And I think it's like you said, like, a lot of those guys that have been around for so long, their matches kind of feel the same. And Orton is one of those guys, even though he did bust out a pedigree in this match.
He busted out a pedigree and he hit him with a nice T-bone T-bone suplex.
He did, yeah. So, but a lot of his stuff is pretty much the same. The RKO, which obviously you couldn't use here until the end, and then the second rope DDT that he does and the backbreaker.
He did it from the top rope, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
the moveset there.
Yeah,
he's the rope.
At least he's not a springboard cutter. That's gimmick infringement. Jay Lethal. So, he stole from his own kind. Stole from a professional wrestler. Mount Rushmore, Kevin Steen.
So that was, I think. So the match again. We said that a lot. I feel like is that the match was fine.
The match was fine. Well, let's get to that. I want you to rank this pay-per-view A to F on the grading scale. You know what's weird? Oh, I'm sorry to A to F, right? A, B, C, D, and F.
Sure.
Nobody gets an E, right? It's E's are not in there.
Yeah, they don't
D is
do
failing.
E's. Yeah.
F is you shouldn't have even done it.
Right, why even bother showing up?
Why? Who gets an E? Effort? E for effort?
Maybe we should. We'll look that up. And
The
then
common core.
next
It's
time,
probably in the common core.
Next time we do a podcast, we'll have an explanation.
I'm gonna answer for all you.
Nobody gets an E. So you're gonna rate the pay-per-view.
I want you to rate the pay-per-view.
I would probably say.
I want you to rate it your level of enjoyment.
Sure. I'm gonna go C plus. I'm gonna go with for me. I thought there were a couple of good matches. The two good matches I thought were really good were Barrett against Neville in the pre-show and the tag match.
All right. Well, let's take the pre-show out of it because it's technically not part of the pay-per-view.
I mean, it's really still in like the C to C plus range for me. I mean, it was. I mean, the main event was adequate. You know, I don't really have a vested interest in Kane, so to me, that's not really very appealing.
You didn't have high expectations going in, so I feel like
I mean, those matches will be fine. And same thing with the Reigns Big Show. Like, it is what it is. I have no interest in watching the match to begin with. I mean, it was adequately worked, and the right guy went over.
Insider terminology.
I'm just
adequately worked.
You know, and then the Cena Rusev, same deal. It was good. Not great, not bad. It was fine. I don't like seeing Rusev lose again, and I'm gonna be. If he loses the I Quit match and actually says I quit in the next pay-per-view,
it'll ruin his character.
Yeah, it'll
ruin Rusev. I don't see that happening.
But the rest of it was really kind of,
it was
pedestrian, I guess is maybe a word. The Divas match was kind of whatever. The Ambrose Harper match was a little bit goofy for my tastes.
Pedestrian.
The Ziggler Sheamus thing was kind of middle of the road.
Oh yeah, that actually took points off.
And the post-match angle was atrocious.
Just
so
such a waste of time.
it's probably. I mean, it's like a C plus for me. I mean, that it's an average, probably a little bit of a little above average show for me. What did you think?
I'm gonna give it a C as well. I'll include the Neville match into the whole pay-per-view, but I think, it's tough because I feel like the Neville match, not just Neville, Neville and Wade Barrett. I feel like they started off such a high note. It was going to be tough to follow. So you have such a good pure wrestling match, and then you get to just the plunder of the Dean Ambrose match, and it was up and down, peaks and valleys. But you're right, the main couple of matches were what I expected to maybe a little bit more, but the Sheamus angle was atrocious for me. The tag match was probably the best match of the night, I would say. Just and the main event was meh. But the Cena match was good. I'll give it a C. We didn't have to fast forward a lot, so
yeah, I mean that's good. I mean we didn't have to fast forward a lot, but I guess I would say this is not a show that I would go back and rewatch again. Like WrestleMania from last month is a show that I think you could go onto the network a day or two later if you have time and rewatch it.
I wouldn't because Ronda Rousey was on it. I don't want to get. You know what? I just.
Are you gonna? I guess I'm wondering, and the people out there listening are wondering how long it's going to take for you to get on the Ronda Rousey bandwagon, admit that she's one of the best female athletes in the world, and we're going to get on that bandwagon. How long is it going to take? Just so we know for the people listening.
I'm going to sit here and stroke my mustache in disgust.
Okay.
I have a lot of different mustache strokes. This is one of disgust.
This is a disgusting.
It just.
Okay.
I've actually I wouldn't rewatch WrestleMania. Okay. Not even just because Ronda Rousey, but I wouldn't rewatch. I would rewatch WrestleMania of last year.
Okay.
But no, this match I probably wouldn't rewatch this card.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I would not. It's not a show that I would rewatch again and again and again. So, it's just an average effort from them, which I think a lot of their pay-per-views at this point, that's what it is, because they have guys that can wrestle. But there's just not a lot of storyline to back it up, and storyline.
You have 7 minutes of ass kissing, so.
That's.
Do you? We're running a little long. What do you expect from Raw tomorrow night?
Well, it sounds like they're going to have some King of the Ring qualifying matches.
I'm all for a good tournament. I love the tournament idea. I'm behind it. They're going to run in 2 nights, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to start it tomorrow on Raw, and then they're going to finish it on Tuesday. The last thing that I read was that the semifinals and finals are going to be on a Tuesday special on the network. So That should be interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see who they actually give the
I
King
was
of
going
the
to
Ring
say,
to.
right now, off the top of your head, not knowing who's in it, not knowing anything, who wins the King of the Ring?
Roman Reigns,
Wow.
if I had to guess. Although he did win the Royal Rumble, so I don't know how much they want to beat everybody over the head with it. But, I mean, I could certainly see him being in it and winning it. Somebody like that. I don't know who else would be there. I mean, it's hard to really say because, I'd like to see maybe a guy like Bray Wyatt, but he wasn't even on the show tonight that I saw.
Yeah, there was no Bray Wyatt.
So I don't know. I mean, that would be my...
What about Ryback? Okay. You know what?
What about Ryback, Mike?
Oh, Bo Dallas. We skipped over that. I like Bo Dallas. I like his bow tee. And rumor has it that Bray Wyatt has been, he's been cutting promos on a certain individual. Rumor has it it's Ryback. I hope not.
Yeah, I literally can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to not be able to sleep
Yep.
over the pending Ryback feud that's going to be on my TV every week for the next month.
Ryback is ratings. There was a guy in the gym today wearing a Ryback shirt. And
Was he a dork?
He wasn't a dork. That's what happens to bullies. No, he was. I actually said to him, I was like, that's a nice Ryback shirt. And he turned his back and he completely no-sold it. And he said, thanks, as he's walking away. I'm there wearing my Suplex Wrestling Kyle O'Reilly shirt, so I'm not going to have a pro wrestling t-shirt off. But show me a little respect, because I complimented your shirt. You're Mark, and you probably think Ryback's the best wrestler in the world.
That kid is
now
clearly...
Now I'm tight.
He's clearly a tap-out boy.
He's definitely a tap-out boy.
So, I mean,
Went to the gym for 2 weeks. His muscles pop out a little bit. Think he's Billy Badass.
So now we're gonna close this out on a Ryback conversation?
I don't want to close it on the Ryback conversation. I do want to talk about Ring of Honor. I want to talk about a lot of things, but this is just strictly the
next podcast we do.
Extreme Rules recap.
Yeah. We'll talk about some other stuff, maybe a little bit more positive.
Maybe
a little less Ryback next time. Can we maybe do that?
More music, less Marcus. Little Bad Boys too. If you could, what do you want to close it on?
Hit them. Can we play some more music before we leave?
Absolutely, we can play some more. That's what I'm here for.
Next time we're gonna get a phone. I feel like. Can we do that? Can we get some callers?
I think I know who
I
our
really
first
want to
caller
take
will
some
be.
callers.
I want to take some calls too.
Let's do that.
The King of the Ring, I like usually because they have pretty decent guys in there, so I think the tournament aspect is going to be good. And I'm being let's be positive. Let's keep the positivity.
No more Ryback.
No more Ryback until next time. Maybe tomorrow night. Let's see where this world takes us. But if you guys want, let us know what everybody thought of Extreme Rules. Tweet us at NYEnforcer and
Still at Joe Giacchetti.
Still at Joe Giacchetti.
It's weak.
It's not weak. Or on Facebook, anything like that. And talk to us about the show. Until next time.
Together.